All relevant links are in the description of this video. Those with higher dopamine levels tend to be risk takers, sensation seekers, curious, make and lose a lot of money, and are typically optimistic, energetic, restless, creative, self-reliant, and intellectual. They tend to be attracted to people like themselves. According to Duke ophthalmologist Anupama Horne, MD, the answer is yes, your baby blues are indeed likely contributing to your squinting and discomfort under bright lights. Horne explains that photophobia, the term used to describe light sensitivity, typically affects people with light eyes because they have less pigmentation in multiple layers of the eye than those with darker eyes. Because of this, they are unable to block out the effects of harsh lights like sunlight and fluorescent lights. What happens in the human eye and frontal lobes can have far-reaching effects for the human organism because of how dopamine drives our biology. Dopamine levels separate us from the rest of the primate tree. There is another thing that separates us from our primate cousins, our frontal lobes. Chimps do not have fully developed frontal lobes and therefore, they do not have as much dopamine present in their brains. As such, chimps need to sleep more than humans do. On average, they sleep 12 hours a day. Humans only need 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep to regenerate. The reason for this is because our eyes have become dopamine factories for our frontal lobes, because they have evolved a unique way to use UV light and tyrosine to make more dopamine. This is how dopamine relates to time. The more dopamine we have, the less sleep we need to regenerate. The less we have, the more sleep we need. We have uncovered evidence that a person's eye color can have a direct effect on how susceptible they are to seasonal affective disorder. Our study used a sample of 175 students from 2 universities, one in South Wales, the other in Cyprus. We found that people with lighter blue eyes scored significantly lower on the seasonal pattern assessment questionnaire than those with darker brown eyes. These results agree with previous research which found that brown or dark-eyed people were significantly more depressed than those with blue eyes. The reason that eye color may make some people more susceptible to depression or mood changes might be because of the amount of light an individual's eyes can process. The retina is the part of our eyeball containing cells that are sensitive to light. When light enters the eye, these cells trigger nerve impulses that form a visual image in our brain. In 1995, scientists discovered that some retinal cells, rather than forming an image, simply send information about levels of brightness from the back of the eye to the brain's hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is an important part of the brain which secretes hormones, such as dopamine and oxytocin, that regulate temperature, hunger, and sleep cycles. As the amount of blue and green light reaching the hypothalamus increases, the amount of melatonin decreases. Eyes with lower pigment, blue or gray eyes, are more sensitive to light. This means they don't need to absorb as much light as brown or dark eyes before this information reaches the retinal cells. This one's two-sided. It should not be taken as an indictment against the darker-eyed individuals amongst us. The facts simply show that there is a clear relationship between eye color and in what areas the person who owns them tends to excel. Blue-eyed people have a tendency to exceed expectations in the realm of strategic and self-paced activities. This includes most of what is accepted as academic science. In fact, many renowned scientists, Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking, have blue eyes. Brown-eyed people tend to be more adept at quick response times in fast-paced activities. This means that dark-eyed individuals would be more suited to sports or other reaction-based disciplines. In other words, there's a little something for everyone. However, in terms of straight-up IQ, baby blues are your best bet for being brilliant.